Hey everybody, it's Murgle, and today I just want to quickly go over the things they're talking about with Mythic Plus changes. Now, I'm a big Mythic Plus person. I like Mythic Plus because it reminds me of challenge modes. I really enjoy them, and I'm more for the small content that's challenging. I like the more condensed content. Um, but these changes are really, really big for Mythic Keystones. And I'm just going to go over them really quick. It looks like we're getting nerf on loot obtain, but it looks like we're going to have less. We won't have to worry about depletion at all. Now, remember, these aren't set in stone, but I'll just quickly read what it says. So the depletion mechanic is going to be gone. There won't be any depletion. And this is how it says it'll work. Completing the run on time will have the same results it currently does. So the time you would get 3 chests, 2 chests, and 1 chest will remain the same, and your key will upgrade between 1 to 3 levels, just like it always has. Now, if your key runs out, the timer runs out, it says if you complete the dungeon, but you don't make the timer, you'll get a keystone for a random dungeon that's 1 level lower. So let's say you had a Mythic plus 15 quarter stars, and you completed it, but you didn't complete it in time. That court key won't deplete, it'll just give you a level 14 of some other random dungeon, which is really good because this means keystones can essentially be used infinitely. If your keystone is getting really high and you wanna just drop it down a couple levels, you could go into a dungeon and pretty much AFK. As an example, let's say you were at a level 10. And you didn't want to go any higher than level 10. You could complete the level 10, but like right before the last boss, just take a long break or something, wait for the time to run out, and then you can get the loot from the level 10 as well as getting a level 9 key. But I'll continue. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it, I'm just saying it's a possibility. And then it says, if you don't complete the dungeon at all, you'll receive a keystone for the same dungeon that's 1 level lower. So this means if your tank for whatever reason just DC'd as soon as you started and he never came back, you're going to get the same keystone for that dungeon, but it'll be 1 level lower. So if you just don't do it at all for the entire duration and you just never finish it, your keystone will just drop 1 level. So that's a possibility as well. Again, because I've already had it where you start a Mythic Plus and then the person disappears. So this is a really good mechanic. I hated depletion because it was always so sad when your key just got screwed over completely, because nobody wants to run a depletion. But I am kind of sad when it goes on a little further. So it says, the other thing we're currently looking to change is the way that rewards are given at the end of the run. Currently, when you complete a run that upgrades your keystone by 2 or 3 levels, you're also given a 2nd or 3rd chest. This is because we believe that keystones would be rare, so they didn't expect people to farm them like they do. We didn't want you to miss out on any of the loot you might have collected from the runs you were skipping. So that's why they were giving you multiple chests with lots of loot. However, because of this, players tend to look for lower level keys that they can easily stomp through, instead of higher level keys that are more appropriately challenging for their gear and skill. And you can see this with farming groups. So farming groups will crush like 3 chest runs, but they're all like 950, 9 level and stuff. You know what I mean? Which I didn't care. I loved all keystones. I was the one guy out there that was running like, I didn't care if it was like plus 14. If I could get a group for it, I would run it. So I never bothered with that. But there were, the farming groups, carry groups existed. So that's what they're saying. They would look for people, and you might not get into a Mythic plus 6, even though that's what your gear level is set for, because everybody doing Mythic plus 6 was carry groups. You know what I mean? That's what they're trying to say. So you don't receive additional chests, is what they're trying to say. You won't get 2 or 3 chests. When you finish a Mythic plus, the chest at the end will contain 2 items and an appropriate amount of artifact power. I'm guessing this means 2 items across the group. Obviously, you're not going to get 2 items for every single person in the group, would you? That'd be 10 items. That'd be absurd. So it has to be 2 items and an appropriate amount of artifact power. If you beat the timer, regardless of how quickly, there will be a 3rd item in the chest. Which means, if you're beating these timers, then you are going to get 3 items in the final chest, which is a great deal of nerf considering, you know, how much loot you could get before. Like, I've already seen, like, every person got maybe 3 items, you know what I mean? It was just it's obviously a huge nerf on the amount of loot that is going to be obtained in Mythic Plus if this actually goes through. It says keystones can still upgrade by 2 or 3 steps, so you can quickly get to a difficulty level appropriate for you. So the final chest will be guaranteed 2 pieces of loot. In time, it would be 3 pieces of loot. That means 3 pieces of loot split between your group of 5. Obviously, a great deal of nerf, especially if you were always getting like 2 or 3 chests. But, I mean, you know, I see what they're saying, because they want you to do the harder chests. That's what they're trying to force you to do, is harder chests. So carry groups will kind of fade away a little bit, or the carry groups will be groups carrying like Mythic Plus 10, 11, and 12, because they'll be getting the better drops and more loot from those chests, if you know what I mean. So if this goes through, remember this is PTR and this is what they're talking about, so it's not guaranteed or anything, but overall the goal with these changes is to incentivize groups to take on dungeons where they know they're likely to see upgrades, instead of preferring keys that are far too easy for them. Once the Tomb of Sargeras raid is available on Mythic difficulty, we'll increase the maximum rewards for Mythic Keystone runs to level 15. So there you go. Some really big changes possibly coming. Now, this isn't guaranteed again. Don't take this 100% guaranteed, but I do like the fact that depletion would be gone. You know, no matter what, I wish this mechanic would come in, because everybody, it's so hard to complete a depleted key after you've done it. Nobody wants to join that stuff. It's depleted. You're not getting jack from it, so why do you want to run it? That's my point. Depleted sucks. So if depleted is gone, that's really good. And it means keystones can be infinitely used. And if you get, like, let's say a crappy one like Cathedral, you could go inside the Cathedral, start the keystone, and then just leave, bail on it, and drop it a couple levels. If you get like a plus 12 Cathedral, go in, drop it, leave, go in, drop it, leave, go in, drop it, leave, and you can get it down. Drop it as many levels as you need, because you know that place sucks really hard. And if you brought it down to maybe like a 6 or a 7, that's an easy clear. You know what I mean? It's a cinch at that level. But at level like 13 or 14, that place is horrible. So that's the way you can look at it. You can for the really difficult places, you can drop the levels if you need to. It's just a possibility. But anyways, thank you for watching. Hope that, you know, interesting stuff you got to hear. I'm excited to see these changes, especially for depletion coming. But you know, the other one, I can see where they're going with it. I wouldn't mind that. You know, 3 pieces of guaranteed loot as long as you're making on time. That's not horrible. It's not the best. It's obviously a big nerf, but it's not horrible either. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.